The Amalfi Coast is one of the most beautiful places I've ever been to in Europe. But there's a load of stuff I really wish someone had told me before my first trip. Some of it would have saved me days, some of it would have saved me money, and some of it is just stuff that nobody talks about. I've just returned from yet another trip to the beautiful Amalfi Coast, and today I'm sharing all the travel tips and quirky little things I wish someone had told me. Brace yourself for this one. Everyone you meet on the Amalfi Coast is American. I'm not exaggerating, you know, you can walk through Positano in season and the dominant language you'll hear is English with a US accent. My driver from Naples airport who took me down to the coast told me that 80% of his customers are American, and that honestly tracks with everything I saw on the coast itself this time around. So, you know, just a heads up, if you come here expecting some authentic Italian local life experience where you're sat next to people speaking Italian, you may be disappointed. Now, let's talk about what you're actually walking into. You need to brace yourself mentally before you arrive. The towns on the Amalfi Coast are tiny. Positano is essentially one street that zigzags down a cliff. Amalfi town is a couple of squares and some alleys behind the cathedral. Maiori is the biggest of them, and you can still walk from one end to the other in 15 minutes. When tens of thousands of day trippers pour in from cruise ships and tour buses, these tiny villages get absolutely overwhelmed. So don't expect a busy holiday town. This is something else. It's small and slow, and it gets extremely crowded in the daytime. Which leads me to the most important tip in this whole video. If you do nothing else from this video, do this. Run on Italian time. The day trippers leave around 5 in the afternoon, and that's when the coast actually becomes magical. So have a long lazy lunch, have an espresso, get an ice cream, a gelato, go for a swim around 6 in the evening, and then don't sit down for dinner until 8, 9 or even 10 or 11 o'clock in the evening. By then, Positano and Amalfi feel like completely different towns. They are quieter, the restaurants are buzzing instead of being absolutely rammed. This single tip is the difference between feeling like cattle and actually enjoying these towns. So stay up late, my friends, you can do it. Most people fly into Naples and fight their way south. There's a much better way actually. Take the high-speed train down to Salerno. There are trains running all day, and from Salerno station you just walk straight down to the harbour, and there's a ferry waiting to take you along the coast to Amalfi, Maiori or Positano, literally any town on the coast. You sail in along the cliffs instead of getting stuck in coast road traffic like you would if you took the road. If you're coming in high season, this will save you so much hassle, trust me. I want to say one thing very directly. Do not rent a car. The road that runs along the Amalfi Coast is one of the most beautiful drives in the world, but it's also barely wide enough for 2 cars to pass. It was definitely built for donkeys and Fiat 500s and not modern tourist traffic. In summer you're going to be sitting in standstill traffic on a cliff edge for hours. And you can't park anywhere, the few spots you do find cost a fortune, and you'll end up being the most stressed person on holiday. Don't book just one hotel for your whole stay on the Amalfi Coast. Move around. The towns on the coast are wildly different in atmosphere. Spending 5 nights only in Positano means you miss the more relaxed evenings in Amalfi town, maybe the dramatic feel of Sorrento and the local life in Maiori. And switching hotels here are really easy because the ferry takes you and your luggage to the next town in 20 minutes. This is the one almost nobody gets right when they start planning. Sorrento is not on the Amalfi Coast. Sorrento sits on the other side of the peninsula on the Bay of Naples. It's a different coast entirely. People book hotels here thinking they're staying right next to Positano and Amalfi, and then they realize they are an hour or 2 away by bus or ferry every time they want to go to the towns on the Amalfi Coast. Sorrento is a great place. It even made it into my video on where to stay on the Amalfi Coast, but it is a different experience than staying in Amalfi town or Positano. But if you want to wake up on the actual Amalfi Coast, you need to be in Positano, Amalfi, Maiori, or one of the smaller villages along that stretch. Now, I know a lot of you guys will be staying in Positano, so just a quick tip. Spiaggia Grande in Positano, you know, the famous beach that you've seen in a million photos, is fine. It's pretty. It's central. It's also rammed because this is the first thing people see when they arrive by boat. So if you want a different atmosphere, walk for 10 minutes along the path around the cliff to the west and you get to Fornillo Beach. It's smaller, always with a fraction of the people, and it's the same crystal clear water. This should be the default beach for anyone staying in Positano. For at least one night on your trip, spend the money on a hotel where you can have breakfast with a proper Amalfi Coast view. I stayed at this lovely little hotel in Positano. It was a mid-range pricing, nothing wild, and you know, in general, 3- and 4-star hotels in Italy can feel a bit old, but I really like this hotel actually. And the breakfast terrace looks straight out over the town and the sea. Sitting there with a coffee, a fresh pastry, and that view in the morning sun is one of those moments that sticks with you longer than any actual site or attraction. I'll leave a link below to my travel blog where I've got a post with more hotel recommendations. Pizza on the Amalfi Coast is something special, and you need to eat as much of it as possible. We are right next door to Naples, you know, the home of pizza, and it shows. Every place here serves proper Neapolitan style pizza. In all my time on the Amalfi Coast, I have never had a bad pizza, not once. Even the most random hole-in-the-wall kind of place makes better pizza than 90% of the pizzerias back home. So eat lots of it. You will regret it if you don't. Also, you'll regret it if you don't hit both that like and the subscribe button right about now. And while we are on pizza, here's a really specific tip. If you are in Amalfi town, find Pizza Express. It looks like nothing. The name is a bit shite. It's basically a takeaway window, but it's the best pizza in Amalfi town, and it's about 1/3 of the price of the sit-down restaurants 50 meters away. So grab a whole pizza and take it down to the cathedral steps or the harbor or the beach. Eat it with a beer and watch the evening crowds going by. That's a perfect Amalfi night for like 50 euros. This applies to all the Amalfi Coast towns actually. Avoid the restaurants with the big view terraces along the main streets and down by the harbors. You're paying double for the view and the food there is usually mid. Just walk 1 or 2 streets back into town and check out the side alleys, the smaller squares that don't have sea views, and the prices drop and the quality goes up. Of course, there are also great restaurants that offer stunning views, but it's a good little rule of thumb, and in any case, make sure you check out a restaurant's online ratings before sitting down. You're going to walk a lot of stairs. The whole coast is built into cliffs, you know. Your hotel might be 200 steps above the road, and even getting down to the beach in some towns is a bit of a workout. So bring proper shoes, not just flip-flops. And if you have any mobility issues, plan very carefully here. Some hotels are basically inaccessible without serious climbing. And a quick one, if you're flying into Naples airport and getting a car down to the coast, as you climb out of Naples and up into the mountains toward the Amalfi Coast, the road eventually reaches a viewpoint where you can look back on the entire Bay of Naples. And there, right in the middle of it all, is the Vesuvius, the volcano, you know, the actual volcano that buried Pompeii. And the thing that hits you when you look at it all from above is the sheer number of people who live in its shadow. Houses, towns, suburbs sprawling right up the slopes of an active volcano. Pompeii sits right there as a permanent reminder of what happens when this big thing wakes up. And yet hundreds of thousands of people just live there. It's kind of crazy. You don't need to visit Naples. There, I said it. Come at me, you mad Neapolitans. I know every travel guide and every YouTuber out there tells you to pair Naples with your Amalfi Coast trip because the airport is there or it's only an hour away from Sorrento. I've been to Naples a few times now, and here's my unfiltered opinion. I did not like it. I really don't like it. The streets are dirty, large parts of the city feel extremely chaotic and quite sketchy, even in the city center. And the traffic is mad, and even the parts that are supposed to be beautiful are completely overrun. If you want a proper city to pair with your Amalfi Coast trip, Rome is just 1 hour 15 on the train from Naples, or an hour and 30 minutes from Salerno. So just go to Rome. Have you been to the Amalfi Coast? What surprised you the most? Drop a comment and tell me what your hot take is.